Assalamualaikum, my name is Ilan Issa binti Hamdi. My matrix number is 300902. So today I would like to present about the success stories of activity-based costing implementation based on the article from Mr. Manivanan. Based on the article, he stated that having a core and educated team is important to success in the ABC implementation. It is because they consist of professionals from all practices in organizations. From that, the participants or the teams will learn to understand the new ideas in making decisions in the organization and believe that the ideas are valid and useful based on the sufficient knowledge they had in the activity-based costing system. In addition, they are also responsible for identifying and assessing the activities that should be revised in order to optimize the product or service in the organization. Next, the reason of success ABC is because the good performance and evaluation criteria of the ABC implementation. This is also called as management evaluation to overall success. The evaluation was made to track the progress of ABC implementation, identify improvement areas, and promptly address emergent issues. By referring to the evaluation and performance of the ABC implementation, the company will know how to identify opportunities for improvement, product management decisions, and driving process improvement decisions as their preparedness to accept and work with innovation. Then, in this slide, I will explain one of the real-world example of ABC implementation success that adopted in Australia. Based on the article observed, I found there has been limited research so far in ABC implementation success in Australian organizations. Chen Hall and Langhale Smith 1998 examined the experience of 5 manufacturing corporations in Australia adopting new management accounting system which is include activity-based techniques that help the manufacturing corporation achieve accurate product costing, timely information, improvements in profitability, and improvements in physical operations and the working environment. This achievement is a proof that ABC implementation of the manufacturing corporation is a success.
Centralization. Centralization is a structural setup in an organization where most of the decisions are made at the top of the organizational pyramid by a particular leader or a few selected leaders. In such a centralized structure, higher level management takes very close control of the distribution and the use of resources for the strategic direction of the company and focuses all requisite effort for the achievement of the main goals, which include the successful implementation of activity-based costing, ABC. Centralization of authority empowers top management as they are in a position to monitor the several aspects of the implementation process to check compliance to policy within the particular organization. They have the capability to authorize and legitimize several procedures. On the other hand, lower level management in centralized organizations usually have very little authority in decision making, and their major work is to implement decisions made by the higher management. This can sometimes limit their creativity or individual assertion towards realization of the implementation. They are supposed to adhere to the laid down rules and provide input in organized patterns that may limit their capacity and creativity when it comes to the implementation. A paper focused on a cross-sectional survey carried out among manufacturing firms in Canada to investigate the relationship between centralization and successful adoption of ABC. From the survey information, it was revealed that when organizations' structural setup was centrally located, the chances of implementing ABC were much higher. One can therefore attribute the improved success rate to the fact that top management offers directional and control over the implementation, thus aligning all departments and human resources. One can thus explain that centralized system reduces the internal complicity, limits the bureaucratic opposition, provides better means of decision making and a more efficient way of distributing the resources. All these factors combined make the implementation process easier and more efficient. In addition, the centralized structure facilitates timely decision making, while opportunities for misunderstanding and conflicting interests that are common with large organizations with decentralized structures are eliminated. Due to the fact that in centralized organizations there is a clear hierarchy and people's responsibilities are described, such organizations can better react to the emergent and possible changes during the ABC implementation. Therefore, the examination of centralization as a study proposal indicates that consistency may increase effectiveness and success in ABC introduced in manufacturing organizations based on strategic management and cooperation. Formalization. Formalization is a set of standardized rules, procedures, guidelines, and policies that show how tasks should be performed and how decisions should be made. When it comes to activity analysis, AA, and activity cost analysis, ACA, which are the first steps towards ABC implementation, a more relaxed structure of the ABC system may be useful. This flexibility enhances innovation and sustains flexibility. Gosselin stated that less formalized organizations are more appropriate for these initial stages of the ABC implementation. The absence of formal working procedures makes it possible to analyze the activities and the costs efficiently. ABC, on the other hand, requires formalization when it is employed fully and comprehensively. These guidelines and procedures effectively guarantee that there is order and standards across the organization. This structure helps to avoid confusion and increases responsibility, guaranteeing that all of the workers are aware of their part in the new cost management structure. From the study conducted by Gosselin in Canadian manufacturing firms, there were indications that the higher percentage of successful implementation on the ABC was noticeable in most of the formalized firms. This supports the implementation of the ABC system within an organization because procedures need to be standardized so that the system can become a part of the organizational culture. In conclusion, where there is a low level of formalization facilitates the first ABC stages. However, increasing formalization is essential for further development as it enhances the precise cost identifications, resource distributions, and organizational effectiveness.
There are 6 significant roles of activity-based costing has been identified. Firstly, to overcome limitation of traditional cost accounting or TCA method. Activity-based costing providing accurate, timely, and reliable information to managers in order to make decisions. Besides, activity-based costing help to determine the process cost of contemporary production. ABC provided a more accurate product cost than traditional cost methods. Secondly, as cost estimation tool. Activity-based costing help to doing cost estimation during complex processes. Activity-based costing is a proper cost estimation tool to set up budget of complex project. Besides, activity-based costing allow estimate production cost and environmental cost accurately mentioned. ABC help to estimate the product or service cost by assigning the cost to the activity involved in the creation process. Thirdly, to identify actual cost information. Activity-based costing provided actual cost information to support management to do decision making. Activity-based costing also providing detailed and accurate cost information, often required in taking various managerial decision-making. Besides, activity-based costing provided detailed information for planning and controlling, which lead to reducing unnecessary cost mission. Lastly, activity-based costing provided actual cost information that make management easy to provide decision making. Next, to identify cost drives. Activity-based costing help to understand how to allocate resources and funding for activities to each system through appropriate cost drivers. Activity-based costing also help for effectively computing values of cost drivers as well as making accurate cost estimations. Other than that, activity-based costing help manager understand how to allocate resources for activities through appropriate cost drives. Next, to calculate actual manufacturing costs. Activity-based costing provided more detailed information on costs accurately calculate the manufacturing cost of our choice. Besides, activity-based costing help to calculate an increasingly accurate manufacturing cost due to the situation in which the share of indirect manufacturing cost increases due to the production technology advancement. Lastly, to calculate accurate profitability. Activity-based costing help to identify profitable and non-profitable product and account for resource constraints. Next, activity-based costing determine the relative profitability of each market segment. Lastly, activity-based costing help to provide production plan and achieve the optimal profitable product mix. Malaysia is one of the largest producers and exporters of palm oil in the world, accounting for 11% of the world's oil and fat production and 27% of the export trade of oils and fats. Oil palm tree will start bearing fruits after 30 months of field planting and will continue to be productive for the next 20 to 30 years. Thus, a proper costing method is very important in order to have a clear picture about its profit loss and gain for the next 20 to 30 years subsequently. Traditional cost accounting or TCA, which the manufacturing overhead are driven by the production volume, are being applied. The inaccurate cost estimation will lead the management hard to do decision making. The aim of this work is to apply the activity-based costing as a method of cost estimation for the palm oil plantation. The ABC has been applied to analyze the costing of every activities involved in the palm oil plantation under the support of actual cost information and proper cost drivers. Accurate profitability will be able to be calculated. Therefore, ABC system will provide actual cost information and proper cost drivers for each of the activities being involved. Thus, it makes the company profitability more accurate.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Putri Nur Ami Farisha binti Amirul and matrix number 297267. Today, I'm going to talk about a topic that organizations struggle with, which is failures in implementing activity-based costing or ABC. We often hear about the success stories, but understanding why ABC fails is just as important. By looking at these failures, we can learn valuable lessons to avoid the same pitfalls. Let's dive into some key reasons why ABC implementations do not always go as planned, using the Bank of China's experience as a prime example. But before that, let me introduce you a bit what is Bank of China. Bank of China is one of the biggest financial institution in China. Founded in 1912, it has operated for 96 years and has served as a core bank for Chinese economic and social progress. Let's start with one of the major reasons why implementing activity-based costing or ABC can fail, which is individual and organizational resistance to change. In any organization, especially large one like the Bank of China, change can be quite challenging. Employees often get comfortable with the existing systems and process, so when something new like ABC is introduced, it's natural for them to resist. People may fear how the new system will affect their jobs, roles, and workflows. This can lead to an anxiety and resistance. If employees are not involved in the change process, or if there's poor communication about why ABC is being implemented and how it will benefit them, resistance is likely to grow. It can result in the system not being properly adopted and utilized, ultimately leading to its failure. To illustrate these points, let's look at the real-world example, which is the Bank of China. In their attempt to implement ABC, the Bank of China faced significant resistance from individuals within the organization. According to a journal article titled "Why Did ABC Fail at the Bank of China?", the management welcomed the idea of a new costing system. They saw ABC as a tool that could provide better control over operating costs and help improve profitability. However, this enthusiasm wasn't shared by everyone. Many individuals within the bank resisted the new system. They were afraid that ABC might uncover unprofitable process and expose issues in their daily work routines. Moreover, employees were comfortable with the existing system. They preferred it because it allowed them flexibility to how they use surplus money within their departments. Instead of having to return unspent funds to the general account to be counted towards the bank annual profit, they could use these funds at their discretion. This existing system offered them a sense of control and comfort that ABC treated to disrupt. Next, the second keyword why implementing ABC can fail is poor ABC model design. The ABC model needs to be designed in a way that is both accurate and usable. If the model is too complex or doesn't fit the organization's need, it can be difficult for employees to use and understand. The model must use accurate and relevant data. If the data inputs are flawed, or if the cost drivers used in the model do not accurately reflect the true drivers of cost, the result will be unreliable. A poorly designed ABC model can lead to inaccurate cost information, which undermines the value of the system and can lead to the poor decision making. It also causes frustration and disengagement among users if the system is too complex or doesn't deliver meaningful insight. Now, let's delve into how the issue of poor ABC model design played a significant role in the failure of ABC implementation at the Bank of China, according to the same journal article. An accurately designed model is crucial for the success of ABC. Unfortunately, in the case of Bank of China, the ABC model they developed faced several significant issues, such as the ABC model was described as too complicated to build and maintain, and also too complex for manager to understand and execute. This complexity made it incredibly difficult for the managers and employees to use the system effectively. Imagine trying to work with a tool that's so complex that you can't figure out how to use it properly. That's exactly what happened at the Bank of China. The initial model designed by the accounting department was too rough and required further refinement. However, due to a lack of proper education and also knowledge about ABC, employees couldn't provide valuable feedback or suggestions to improve the model. Without understanding the system or seeing clear benefits from it, the employees and managers at the Bank of China couldn't use the ABC model effectively. As a result, the model soon collapsed. This shows how a purely designed and overly complex ABC system can lead to the frustration and disengagement, ultimately causing the system to fail.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Zain bin Muhammad, matric number 300838. Now I'm going to talk about failure in ABC implementation. Many of the activity-based costing ABC system introduced in recent years are said to fail. The use of ABC for surveillance by the group management with no consequence action led us to propose that claims on ABC failure result, in part, from assessing the use and value of ABCs from the decision-making perspective. The decision-making perspective may be insufficient for capturing the multitude of users to with which ABCs are put in practice. As this study show, in the context of strategic decision-making, the success of ABC cannot depend on whether its results require any actions or decision to be taken, but on its ability to make a correct diagnosis of the situation. Consequently, some of the so-called ABC failures may not be failures. They may merely reflect a limited appreciation of the use of accounting and control system in practice. Nevertheless, failures and resistance are real in numbers of organizations. This study explored the origin of the resistance to ABCs in case setting, looking at diverse interests of organizational stakeholders and the role of existing control and information system in ABC implementation. We show that the resistance may have several sources, some related to the cost and benefit of ABC, some associated with organizational power and politics, and some pertinent to organizational culture. The practical implication of this study hinge on the notion that although the resistance to ABC may come from various sources, the sources appear fundamentally structural and are unlikely to be dealt with by employing implementation-based strategy. There are three more failures that I will talk about. One of them is cost and benefit of ABC. Despite the potential benefit of ABC, implementation failures can occur. The ABC implementation did affect the cost and benefit of a certain organization. Next is organizational power and politics. Organizational power and politics can significantly hinder the successful implementation of activity-based costing (ABC) system. Departments that benefit from the status quo, like those with historically low cost allocation, might resist change. Other than that, there are organizational culture. Organizational culture can significantly impact the success of ABC system. This mainly focuses on the human behavior. There are three main ideas of cost and benefits failure in ABC implementation. The first one is upfront cost versus the long-term benefits. The initial investment in data collection, system development, and employee training can be substantial. Companies might struggle to see the return on investment (ROI) immediately, especially if the benefit like cost savings take time to materialize. This disconnect between upfront costs and long-term benefits can lead to a lack of buy-in from management, hindering successful implementation. The second one is complexity and resistance. The intricate nature of ABC system can overwhelm employees. The additional workload of data collection and unfamiliar costing concept can lead to resistance and a reluctance to learn the new system. This reduces the effectiveness of ABC as employees may resort to workarounds or fail to utilize the data accurately. The third one is ambitious scope. Companies usually attempt to implement a comprehensive ABC system across the entire organization right away. This can be overwhelming and lead to data overload. A phased approach focusing on critical areas first can help manage to cost and demonstrate the benefits more quickly, fostering greater buy-in from stakeholders. Next, we have organizational power and politics, and why it is a factor of failure in ABC implementation. One of them is resistance from powerful departments. Departments that benefit from the status quo, like those with historically low cost allocation, might resist change. They may wield their power to slow down or block the implementation. The second one is lack of top management buy-in. If senior management isn't fully committed or sees ABC as a threat to their authority, they may not allocate sufficient resource or address resistance effectively. The third one is political agendas. ABC can expose inefficient or shift cost burden. If certain groups use political maneuvering to protect their interests or deflect blame, it can derail the entire project. The fourth one is focus on short-term win. Powerful stakeholders might prioritize short-term goals over the long-term benefit of ABC. This can lead to a rushed implementation with inadequate training or a system that doesn't meet its full potential. After that, we have the organizational culture and why it is one of the factors that leads to failure in ABC implementation. Next is resistance to change. Culture that are averse to new process or data-driven decision making can create employee resistance to ABC. Employee may see it as disruptive or unnecessary. The second one is lack of transparency. If a culture emphasizes secrecy or department silos, implementing ABC can be challenging. It requires information sharing and collaboration across departments. The third one is short-term focus. Cultures fixated on short-term goals might not see the value of ABC's long-term benefit like improved cost currency and strategic decision making. The last one is mismatched values, which ABC can challenge traditional reward system based on outputs alone. If the culture does not embrace the valuing efficiency and activity-based performance metrics, the problem will arise and cause failure of ABC implementation. That's all from me. Thank you.